Good day, namaskar, sat sri akal, adab. Welcome to Hunny Walia show. I am your host, Sonal Fool. Today we have a young person who is not only a business person, he's a volunteer, he's a youth icon. He has not only been recognized for his work in Alberta and Canada, but also all over the world. We have Jagrit Bajwa with us today. He has worked with the central government, federal position in Canadian government. He has also UNESCO Center for Peace Cross Culture Ambassador. And he is a singer also, he's a writer also. He owns a business as a El Jaguar. Before I say further or more about him, Jagrit Bajwa, welcome to Hunny Walia show.
Thank you, Sunny. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Jagrit. Now, you are such a versatile personality. You have been you are a youth icon. You are inspiring a lot of youths to come forward. Before I go further, I would like to ask you, or if you could please tell us about your company, El Jaguar, what it does.
So, Sunny, I incorporated it 3 years ago in 2018. And this company is basically about promotional aspects and do merchandising for businesses. So anything which relates to athletic clothing or compression wear and the businesses want their logos on, that's the core of the business. But recently I've been trying to diversify that business into creating a supply chain where I can help small businesses in Edmonton particularly to import products from either China or from India so that they can save their costs in this precious COVID-19 time.
No, one thing, Jagrit, first time I came to know when we were talking about the COVID-19 and your volunteer work, and you are donating K95 mask to different organizations in Edmonton, if I'm not wrong. You even help us also with the Infinity. You gave 250 K95 mask, and then you give it to the Bissell Center and other organization. Thank you for that. But before we go further, could you tell, when we talk about bringing your merchandise from India or different other parts of the world, so you bring it here and then you assemble, what you do with them then?
So it's all pre-assembled and ready to go. So businesses who are looking for, having their designs on the clothing and want to provide it to their employees or even do fundraising. So I'm able to help them save their marketing and branding costs through clothing and other merchandising options too. There are available, but that's the core of my business, where businesses can come and just find ways how they can save their costs.
So you help them in designing also?
Yes.
Or that's fantastic. Yeah. So tell us, we talk about you are a business owner, you're a volunteer, and you're a youth icon. When I say youth icon, you have been involved in different, as a youth, you have involved in different organizations. Please tell us a little bit more about the UNESCO Center for Peace 2020 Cross Culture Ambassador, which you have been as a U.S. Federation of UNESCO Club and Association.
So last year, UNESCO Center for Peace awarded me this role of cross-cultural ambassador alongside many brilliant, widely known world artists, for example, Julian Lennon, and so he's been a big name throughout the world. And so I'm one of those laureates that were awarded, and I was awarded by UNESCO Center for Peace, who also works with US Federation of UNESCO Clubs, Centers, and Associations. So I'm very grateful to UNESCO Center for Peace for giving me such wonderful opportunities to be able to connect to youth, promote arts and world peace. And that's been my role with them. And I've been trying to now promote youth locally, just not in Edmonton or Alberta, even other parts of Canada. And I've helped youth now in India, and I'm trying to gather even artists who have different talents and they want to showcase on their different platforms. So I've been trying to act as a liaison right now between UNESCO Center for Peace and people who exhibit talent, and that's what I like. And me being an artist, I connect to the talent
And how did you get involved with them?
It is an interesting story actually.
Please.
So in 2019, I I was invited by United Nations in a conference called United Nations Civil Society Conference. So that was held in Salt Lake City, USA. So I was there and I was leading a couple of sessions. One was a Punjabi Zumba. And
Okay.
so that was something that never happened there in that conference. And the youth around the world participated in it. And there was like huge participation, like because it's United Nations and civil society organizations came over there. So it was a great experience. And I was also, performing my songs on like human rights and women empowerment. And so that's where in one of those days I came across the executive director of UNESCO Center for Peace. So he's amazing, and his name is His Excellency rather, Guy Jocan. And so he runs this UNESCO Center for Peace out of Maryland, and he is being supported by United States senators and many UN diplomats. So I've attended a number of events with UNESCO Center for Peace. I've contributed to them in different ways. And so that's where I came across Mr. Guy Jocan, and he's been like, I think he's been like just supporting me now. Like he wants me to be on a global stage, and he's providing me those platforms.
You deserve it, because what you are doing, how you are involved, how you are mentoring, I should be saying, the youth all over the world, in Indian community, Canada, India. Is good. But when you say youth, is any age group we are looking, or is youth by age or youth by heart?
Well, so for sure, it is, for certain programs, it is youth by age. But when we look at humanity, it is beyond age. So anyone from any age can contribute towards humanity. And we at our end, we are trying to promote youth because they are our next generation. So the good and the bad that has been done by the past generation, we are trying to negate some of the bad effects, and we are trying to create a future where we all can sustain together. So youth has been is being directed now to work towards sustainable development goals. So there are 17 sustainable development goals that are laid out by United Nations, and they want it to be achieved by 2030. So we don't have much time.
So what's the age group
the age group for youth, it is like say anywhere between 14 to 32 or 35 years. But for UNESCO Center for Peace programs, it's usually between say 14 to 25 years only. The another organization that I worked with who was promoting UN's SDGs, you call them Sustainable Development Goals. So they had their age until 32. So middle-aged, young professionals, youth that is in high schools, undergrads, grads, anyone can actively contribute towards these projects, and they can find ways how they can contribute. And
so is any qualification required, Jagrit, to become part of this? Any qualification, any criteria which you want to specify on a little bit more or give more detail?
So there's no hard and fast criteria rather. So it's all about society.
Okay.
So all those 17 goals, they are relating to one of the things or issues that are needed to be fixed in the world. So if there is, climate action, so that is SDG 13, and so young people, they are trying to create those things, they're trying to make those efforts where climate action can be, addressed, so climate issues can be addressed. And so there's so many ways you can contribute through either social entrepreneurship, or you can contribute by working for organizations who are already working in this area. Similarly, organizations that work in, say, empowering women, so that falls under the category of SDG 5, so gender equality. So youth can rather, there's no
age limit or no criteria.
You have to find your why you want to contribute, and slowly when you progress, you'll come across organizations or people who are already working in these areas. What I would suggest to youth is to participate in the global conferences. So not just local like conferences, like where you know what's happening in the locality, but they should know what's happening around the world. And those global conferences is something that I suggest. I mean, and many of the UN conferences, you can be invited free of cost. They don't charge you for their conferences.
So if anyone wants to know more about it, they are is that okay if any person or the youth from age, say from 14 till 25 or 30, if they want to learn more about it, can they contact you, or is any website, or they can just go to UNESCO website and find out the information?
It needs to be like understood that there are many UN organizations. There are many organizations who have a consultative status with United Nations, and it is called ECOSOC status, and UN also has its own events. So they need to browse now. So they have to
take their initiative and fill up the application and everything.
Because I can only put them towards those organizations where I am connected with, but the universe is huge, and
no, skies are the limit if you want to do something. So I will highly recommend all the youth who want to participate in community, they want to do something different, except everyone doing the studies, everyone is involved in anything. But if you're more interested, please do go on the website, and if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to contact Jagrit through Hunny Walia show, and he will be willing to help you out and provide you more information. Jagrit, you have also been involved as a youth ambassador with the Friendship Center, ambassador of Friendship, ambassador of Foundation. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So this organization has, again, UN consultative status, and it's based out of New York. So they've had students, not just students, like young professionals and youth, and from over 100 countries, they have participated in their conferences. So these conferences used to happen twice every year, and all of them they've had happened in New York, and they used to be organized at United Nations headquarters. So luckily, back in 2017, I got my first chance rather to be at United Nations headquarters in 2017, and at the time I was a student at NATE, and even NATE sponsored me and provided me an award to be there. So that was something that is very close to me, so that I got exposure to different perspectives and what the other young people are doing in the world. Like, there's so much we can learn, and those platforms provide us those opportunities. And since then I was a member, like an active youth member for the Friendship Ambassadors Foundation. But in 2019 they put me as their ambassador, and what my role is to again promote the work of UN and SDGs through this organization and connect the youth with the platforms and the conferences that happened every year.
So you have a business, you're a volunteer, and then you are doing all this. I say volunteer work because you're not getting paid for it. And then you have a business also. How do you juggle these two balls together?
It's been very nice and easy for me. So it's not like I do have time in my life with the kind of business I have. So I've been able to find time for the things that I'm connected to. So if I like to volunteer, I try to find best ways I can contribute myself with. And I know things which I like, I can spare time for them. It could be in the day or it could be in the night, but I won't care if I have to pursue something that is close to my heart. So be it a volunteer, or even be it singing, or creating music, or doing business. And especially the kind of business I am in, it's not like a 9-to-5 business. It's you are working with partners, say in India, and then you are juggling some.
No, it's really interesting because one thing, as I have a business, I'm involved in the volunteer organizations, and I do a lot of. My wife always complains I'm never at home. Or I'm never around. So it's a good thing or a bad thing. Good thing in the things you are involved in the community. You are always doing something. You are not just sitting around. But then also it gives you, if you don't fit for balance, like life and work balance, sometimes we are able to juggle it, sometimes we miss it, sometimes we gain it. I think everyone has to.
Yeah, and it's all about creating a balance and self-actualization. So you can create balance in your life. It could be within your family or within your society or with the kind of work that you do. And even you can work on balancing your spiritual health too.
No, the reason being why, Jagrit, I asked you, especially when you are a student or you are studying or you are at the university, you have exams, you have assignments and everything. I think it gives a very good life experience or life lesson, how to balance it, how to do a time management.
For sure.
So what you have done is fantastic. So Jagrit, tell us a little bit more about turban tying event. I know you have been involved. So when we talk about turban tying events, so are you teaching them? Because I was involved with the Sikh youth also. We distributed masks and hand sanitizer and other stuff when, in the peak hours of pandemic. So I learned it. Do I know how to do it? How to tie a turban? No. Do I have a turban? Yes. So tell us a little bit more about.
Yeah. So it is interesting actually, and I was an international student when I came to Edmonton. I directly came to Edmonton, and so while I was at NAID, I knew there are societal differences, and there are some stereotypes within the communities, and and there are always ways where we can address those tiny stereotypes or fill those gaps. So I found this way of doing an event like turban tying event within those the community events that NAID does within the campus itself. So I did that for a couple of years then, and I was working as a peer mentor for NAID student engagement department. So they actually supported me as well, and alongside NAID International Center. And so through NAID International Center and student engagement, I was able to find help and support that is needed to promote inclusivity within the society. And I think people rather enjoyed it. It was all students who had a turban on. They took selfies. It was instructors or even some local media personalities. They all were there and they wanted to try it on. And I think those tiny little efforts, they educate people. And I think then the acceptance is it can be felt.
So Jagrit, I have a very specific question, because turban, when we talk about the Sikh religion, is 5 days, right? It's one of the important or main significant thing. So do you also, when we talk about the turban tying event, you are teaching them how to tie it, you are providing the turban too. Are you also telling them what's the significance behind it, what is important, what it means actually?
So these questions come very often. They will ask, why do you tie a turban, or do we need to tie a turban, or why is it so important to you? So these are normal questions, and that's what we want to address, and that is what the concept behind the turban tying events, so that when they're being tied upon, it takes a couple of minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, and
for you, not for the person who does not know.
Yeah, for sure. So if I was, say, for example, tying a turban on someone, and he or she might ask, what is being done on my head? And earlier, some people thought there's something inside the hair, inside the turban, they're carrying something in it. There were tiny little things that I came across, and those questions are important because it does carry community responsibility, and it reminds you of what we all can do in whichever community setting we are in. It's not just me just helping out a particular sector of community only. It's based on widely accepted principles, and we as individuals just can promote inclusivity and keep doing the community service work irrespective of how we appear.
No, Jagrit, you are doing a fantastic job. You are not only telling us what is it, but you're also creating awareness in a positive,
thank you.
positive way. Like, do I have a turban? Yes. Do I know how to wear it? No. But then the kids, especially the young generation, who are coming, sometimes it's intolerance, but I think it's not an intolerance, it's a lack of awareness. We don't know what is the significant behind it, what it means. So creating that or filling that gap is fantastic. You are doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And you are not only, and you are also mentoring the youth, not the university, schools, to how to come forward, how to develop their internal powers, how to be a good social citizen, or how to be I think not a social citizen is not the thing, is good human is the right word. Thanks a lot. In the last, what message would you like to give to the youth?
So, youth is creative, youth is talented. Youth doesn't need to know from me. They can discover themselves. So once they know how to discover things, I think nobody can stop them. So if I really need to give a message, just find your why you want to contribute towards things. And once your heart gets connected to a particular thing, then I think you can just move on with it, and you will find support and generous people everywhere. I've found hundreds of them, and just not in Edmonton, like everywhere. So even just you're hosting me today, and he's generous. He has got me here. So thanks, Sunil, for having me. And I think even the work you're doing, it helps promote youth too, so that not even me or someone else might want to come onto your show, and they would want to talk about aspects of social responsibility, social entrepreneurship, and how they can get the things done in a society which has a lot of constraints built up throughout centuries. So yeah, we can all work together.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, work as a team. The 5 fingers makes a fist, and then when you work together, you gain more, you achieve more.
Yeah.
You did mention you are a writer, you are a singer. We can't let you go or finish this. I'm not going to tell you or disclose your new song or anything. Just sing a line.
Oh.
Just one word, and then that will be fantastic. We have heard you this thing, we want to hear you as a singer too. Just a one line, if you may, please.
Sure. So I like to rap, so I've been creating songs in Punjabi rap, and that's another growing industry these days in our community, and I'm very fond of it. So I'll just throw
just one line,
a few lines from an upcoming song. बिल्लो बन गई जिंदड़ी दी मेरी हुण बॉस तू कर गई दिल दा बॉर्डर वे क्रॉस तू लिया के ताज महल दा तैनू ताज दूं शगना दे वेले मिठी चूरी तैनू खवा दूं.
Thank you, Jagrit. That's fantastic. You have increased my appetite when you said churi, right? I love it, and I have few friends who make it for me.
Yeah, I deliberately put that cultural reference into my song, so that people should remember how our community celebrates through a churi, right? Like a mithi churi.
And the Lodi is coming, and the churi and everything. It's fantastic. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Jagrit.
Thank you, Sunny, for having me.
Thank you for coming to Hunny Walia show.
Thank you.
Thank you, listeners. Thank you, everyone, for listening and viewing the Hunny Walia show. I'm your host, Sonal Fool. Please keep watching Hunny Walia show. We not only have in English, we do have in Hindi and Punjabi also. Please keep watching, and we are always waiting for your reviews and comments. Thank you. Take a leave till we meet again. Your host, Sonal Fool.